But insane, I did like the whole Miz interaction, and Miz is just great, really. I think his promos are funny. He's funny in commentary as well this week, and yeah, I think even his Twitter, everything. He's a funny guy.
Yeah, he's a modern day WWE worker. He has all those boxes checked. He's an ex-reality star. He's got that Twitter deal down to a T. He knows exactly how to use it to work feuds that haven't even begun yet. I mean, the guy's been working with Chris Jericho for about 12 months now. And indeed, The Miz knows how to cut a promo, it has to be said. I mean, a year, maybe 2 years ago, I probably would have said that he can't work. But now, it's undeniable. Maybe it's just the experience he's had now, but the guy really impressed me on NXT when he was cussing out, in a way, Daniel Bryan, and we'll get to that a bit later.
Oh yeah, he's a funny guy, and I think even all those early skits with Morrison and the Dirt Sheet really kind of, I think, just showed how good he was on the mic across the board, and splitting those guys up and making them both go solo was a really good idea, I think. But Jomo still needs a bit of work in the old promos, I think. But Miz has got it down to a T.
One thing I will say about The Miz this week, and I'm not sure if it was directly his fault, I found this in a lot of the matches, but there were definitely different UK production elements. There was differences to the colour, but also that audio, especially in-ring audio, was far more audible than usual. And in fact, I have to say, The Miz did in fact call spots very, very easily heard, and indeed I did hear him directing D.H. Smith to do various things. That's one I would love to have a listen into sometime, that dialogue between wrestlers as they work. It would be fascinating.
Yeah, it would actually. It would be very interesting. How funny was Brett's Spinal Tap moment? Did you hear that when he goes, it's great to be back here in Wembley Arena after I mean, yeah, 0-2 for reference there, old Hitman.
We'd all love to cut a Bret Hart style promo. I think any wrestling fan could just do it on the spot, because we just love the way he does it. It's really classic, and indeed I know he's had a lot of stick for his time on the stick, but definitely Bret Hart has impressed me of late, and I'm really glad to see him back. I think we both are.
Yeah, I am. I didn't realise how annoying his voice was until he came back, and I don't even think it's the Canadian accent, because I'm not like anti-Canadian or anything. It's just especially when he says a boot all the time, that really kind of pisses me off. Maybe it's just his voice though, because when I was wondering, is it just because of the stroke and all that stuff, that his voice might be a bit fucked. But I looked back at some of the old Heart Foundation promos from some SummerSlam a long time ago, and he was equally as bad, to be honest with you. The voice was the same. It's just a bit more huskier, I suppose, with age,
Absolutely. We're looking for your comments on the justin.tv live chat room, and every Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific and 8 p.m. GMT, more or less, you join us here and catch the show live. This show, of course, broken up into 10-minute slots because YouTube sucks each and every week. We'd love to put up 50-minute, 1-hour videos, but absolutely no sign of budging by YouTube. Not even prepared to offer a pay option for our videos. We'd pay them.
Yeah, YouTube motherfuckers. I mean, 2 years ago, if you can do your full-on 1-hour capacity and you pull that shit away, people aren't going to be happy about that. We're certainly not happy about it. So sort it out, fuckheads.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no excuse. They could offer a premium package to allow that. But let's continue. And the Miz triumphing in that match after interference from the Big Show is, of course, last Monday night's WWE Monday Night Raw. Now, this bit really made me laugh when backstage we saw Batista and David Otunga. Now, previously last week we had those guys more or less on the same side, Otunga heel turning, and indeed for the better of Batista. But this week Batista told Otunga he could go get him a coffee.
He sure did. And I think it was probably a wise move from Otunga to do that. I think Otunga's going to be fine. He's no problems. He's not going to get the boot from NXT. He's in the Raw circle. He's running with heel Batista, heel Otunga. they can do it. They can get well over, and I think he's really good on the mic, and I think he's a keeper. No matter what you say, he is the botch king at the moment, but he is. I think he's the future.
It's undeniable. He's got the look, he's got the charisma, and I think after a bit of time he will mature on the mic, and that's probably in a lot of cases so important, especially a guy like him. You're going to be looking for him to talk his way into a lot of feuds and talk his way out of a lot of feuds in the coming years. And indeed, if they're putting him in there with Cena and Batista, that right there is high hopes. But then, I mean, it seems everyone gets there these days, don't they?
That's the worrying thing. Yeah, all these super pushes with Drew and Sheamus and now Otunga, and I'm sure even Daniel Bryan will get right into the mix with somebody. But yeah, I suppose that's just the way things are these days, isn't it?
Indeed. Now this week, Carlito back on Raw, and indeed getting a bit of a spot there in a match with Evan Bourne. And about time too. Evan Bourne, great worker, and he flies around that ring. He really makes stuff look dangerous. And again, it's that kayfabe, it's that belief that the guy is doing something that is putting him in danger. And perhaps he's not at all, but I was impressed by Evan Bourne this week. He dropped on his neck extremely bad, but he always does that in the match and never comes off the worst.
Yeah, maybe he's just good at selling stuff. But good to see Carlito back, and they just need to do something with him. I think even putting him back on TV, they might be building something. Fingers crossed, because he can step it up. I think he's a good all around kind of guy. But yeah, Raw was just really good this week. I thought from start to finish. Good work, Stamford.
Isn't it funny when we do say that, wow, Raw was good, because we are actually surprised now. It's not something where we go, it's 3 out of 4 weeks good, it's 2 out of 4 weeks good. I mean, you really are looking at that final show before a pay-per-view. That seems to be the only time they put in huge effort. I mean, to put on a really excellent show. But then you have those other filler weeks. But I think at least this week, the guys in England who came out for that show and probably paid a high price for those tickets, not like those $40 seats you might get in America, people paying a lot more in the UK, and we always seem to get gypped with the shows that come over here, but this time I think it was a bit more action-packed for the crowd.
It was indeed. SmackDown, on the other hand, we'll talk more about that later, but Raw was a great show for them, and NXT was a great show too. So yeah, I think the UK fans got their money's worth this time.
Now, we had a bit of a problem on the Thursday replay. Always one for those technical glitches and things like that. I did notice that the audio for Cena's entrance on the Thursday night replay, so not live, was in fact heavily post-produced. There wasn't a trace of those boos that I'm almost sure were on the live edition. Certainly some sound doctoring going on there, and indeed I know that the UK crowd, they react very badly to Cena. Certainly here in Ireland, the exact same.
Yeah, and we've seen it at any of the shows we've been to in the UK and some of the house shows over here. They just don't like Cena. The UK fans and the Irish fans. They're just, and you'll hear it in the arena more so that it's pretty loud. Those boos are pretty loud, and they're marking out kind of a boo way. I will say, but they definitely those were overdubs on the playback of Raw this week, because you could hear, even with headphones on, you could hear a lot of people